Over the past few days, I've found myself with a little extra time on my hands, and that's allowed my mind the opportunity to wander a bit. With the pace of life right now, I've had a little more time to read my Bible and pray and listen for God's voice. And lately, there's been this question that keeps popping into my mind. God, what do you want from me? Now, I don't know if you've ever had that question kind of pop in your mind, but for me, over the past week, it's just been on the forefront. Now, when I was 12, I made the decision to follow Jesus, to commit my life to him. And I assure you that when I made that decision, I was sincere. But it wasn't until I was about 18 years old that I really began to understand the true ramifications of that choice. Let me explain. I knew that God loved me and that he died and he rose for me and that I had new life in him, but I was dissatisfied with how my life looked. It felt new in the beginning, but it seemed as time went on that it was the same old life. At 18, God woke me up to the fact that my faith, my life for Jesus needed to be more than a decision made when I was 12 at Bible camp. There was a responsibility that came with my decision. There's a conversation that's recorded in Matthew 22, beginning in verse 36, between Jesus and someone who the Bible refers to as a religious leader. Teacher, which is the most important commandment of the law of Moses? And Jesus replied, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And a second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these two commandments. Summed up, love God and love others. And you know what? There are all kinds of ways that we can strive to love God, but the best, the most complete, and sometimes the hardest way is to love those he's created. At the age of 18, God began to open my eyes to the fact that there were others around me who needed him. I was then, and can still be, pretty self-absorbed. I can get caught up in my own problems and issues and become blind to the needs of those around me. From time to time, I need the reminder that I need to do more with the love that God has given me. The decision to follow Jesus needs to move you. It needs to move you out of the way of how you want to do things, out of the normal routine, and out of your comfort zone into a place of faith and trust and even risk. James 2 has this truth for us, and it can be hard to deal with. It makes the claim that our faith without good deeds, without actions, is actually dead. What good is it, dear brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith but don't show it in your actions? Can that kind of faith save someone? Suppose you see a brother or a sister who has no food or clothing, and you say, goodbye, have a good day, stay warm and eat well. But then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that do? You see, faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. Without action towards others, our faith is, as James puts it, useless. And I would add, it's selfish. So what does God want from you? He wants you to love him and love others. Now, how that's expressed will be a bit different for each of us. And you know what? When we try that, it might actually be a bit messy. But we need to show the love of Jesus to everyone. And you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. Bob Goff in his book, Everybody Always, puts it like this. He says, no one expects us to love them flawlessly, but we can love them fearlessly, ferociously, and unreasonably. So take this challenge today. Spend some time, get creative, and let your friends and your neighbors know that you love them.